marketing and journalism. Yeah, I don't have sample copies, and there's a reason why. The others, you're welcome, thank you. The others are, if these are approved by you folks, we will purchase them much cheaper on Amazon, but we
Right.
were not able to do that in advance of tonight because of the change from fiscal year. The ordering hasn't been able to take place yet, but I don't think there's anything.
Before you get into the specifics, and this is a question again, probably more geared to the superintendent, but you can help. Where are we in terms of looking at online textbooks? And I know obviously that relates to the technology we have available. There are so many companies now moving in that direction, and the savings is phenomenal for the school district. I know many colleges now, students can buy several of their books and just have them on their computer. So I'm just wondering, how does that fit into our whole technology plan?
Well, it would be something that we're more looking forward to with the opening of the new school, with the infrastructure, the technology infrastructure, to support accessing either web-based textbooks or even those that are individually leased, because there are multiple ways to have digitized textbooks. So we need to take a look at how does the infrastructure support it and what's the most cost effective, because we're finding that it's not just one way to do this.
Okay.
So we're in the investigative process, but we're looking toward implementation
but
when
it's-
the new school comes
Okay,
online.
great. Okay. Go ahead, John, if you want to.
So in absence of the books, I asked the teachers who would be teaching the courses, it's basically the marketing you have, journalism you have, and the contemporary dramatic literature at the honors level to prepare, and I think you have a copy of the,
Yes.
In their hands?
just some descriptions
Yes.
from Mrs. Hargrove, Ms. Hargrove, wrote for the new course, Contemporary Dramatic Literature, which will be running next year at the honors level. That's new for us. And a bit of a rationale as to why she was selecting those texts for that course. Again, I don't know how much detail you want. Is it pretty we're running marketing
Yeah.
for the first time. That's a course you adopted 2 years ago.
Right.
It did not run last year because of a lack of student enrollment, but this year it is running, so we're very excited about that. In journalism, actually journalism and the contemporary dramatic literature honors, you might remember, they're both courses that you endorsed as a change to the program of studies earlier this year, as
Right.
allowing to satisfy the senior English requirement. Both running. We're very happy about that. We really think that that's going to to engage students in the senior year at a higher level than being forced to take, really, either the only option they had was British literature or an advanced placement level course. So now with contemporary dramatic lit and journalism, I think we're going to see some really good things come from students electing those courses to satisfy their senior English requirement.
I was extremely impressed with the teachers' descriptions of the books and also the
Did a nice
rationale. I
job,
thought
yeah.
that was
She did a nice
outstanding.
job, yeah. She's
I was
very
able to,
excited about teaching this course.
without
She
having the
really
book
is.
in front of me, and I know some of these books, but I was able to get a good understanding of what the book's about and why she wanted to teach it, and I thought that was great. Really commend
I'll
her
let
for
her
that.
know you said that.
It's outstanding. Any questions on the books being suggested tonight for approval? There are some textbooks, and then there were some fiction and nonfiction plays, et cetera, for the
I
literature
did meet with
course.
Mr. Daly, our Director of Academic Services. He and I did have 2 conversations around these books, and deemed, obviously, they were deemed suitable for the courses that we were aligning them with.
Any questions?
I have one question
Ms.
about this
Bowers?
book.
Yes,
Are they selling it by the pound? This is a 10-pound book.
that's one of those books, yes.
It is, and it's probably not the heaviest we have, Mr. Bowers. It really isn't, and it is heavy, I agree, but
It's easy to see why our kids excel in sports.
they get their workout during.
That's why we have good pitchers,
carrying those
because, right, the
backpacks
arm
around,
strength.
yeah, believe me. I know exactly what you're saying. I thought the same thing when I carried it in there tonight, and that's only one.
Either that or I'm older than
If you
I
take an
think.
AP chemistry and British lit and
And
calc
marketing.
and statistics, you've got probably 3 others just like it on a green day.
One thing, John, in terms of the journalism course, and I'm sure this will be covered, but with so much of journalism is moving online and digital right now.
Yeah.
I think it's a great course for high school students to take, because if you're really interested in being a reporter or writer, there are a ton of opportunities online now. Don't pay as much, but they're there. Mike?
I would agree.
Oh.
I
Any other?
don't know, I think you folks all know that a lot of times the articles written in the transcript about our sports teams are written by students.
I
don't if you
know
all
that.
But, you read last week's paper by Nick Forsalisi,
Right.
and that article about the baseball team is outstanding.
It was great.
I mean, he's,
Yep.
and I think we're going to see, that's, in talking with Mr. McCarthy, who will be teaching the course next year, there's a lot of good ideas about how practical application of what he's teaching them can be used through, whether it's online, the transcript, or whatever. But that's I think, an exciting opportunity for us.
Just one other suggestion, and, Mike's often the guy who comes up with this, but in terms of once we get into the new school, new labs, new technology, hopefully we can see some new course offering suggestions that are more focused maybe in the programming area, networking, et cetera, website design, whatever those courses may be. A lot depends on what we're gonna have to work with when we get to the school, but,
I think you will. I think you will. You
that'd
may
be
see them
great.
sooner than that, too.
great.
Yeah, I'd love to see the student handbook,
The program
Built
study,
as an
the
app
program
or-
study, yeah.
Right.
Oh, I see what you mean, yeah.
they can have it on their
Yeah,
iPads.
Kids
or
can have it on their
iPhones
iPads,
or-
right? Exactly. Yeah.
Program studies, and, yeah.
Any other,
Nice side project.
any other questions or comments about the recommended books? If none, I'll entertain a motion to adopt the books as recommended by Mr. Bernard.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Motion by Mr. Bauer, seconded by Mr. Venezia. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Unanimous. Thanks, John.
Thank you.
Oh, wait, we got more.
I have one more.
I'm just trying to get
I
rid of
wasn't
you, John.
Wow.
Sorry, John.
No, please, this is good. It's all good stuff.
Next, we have, and I was actually going to, I didn't know this was gonna be on the agenda. I saw it in, I think it was in your report?
Lisa?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm glad you're gonna talk about it, because, I was wondering, is this something that you have to qualify for? Do they pick your name out of a hat, or how does it work?
Well, I can tell you what I know, and,
Okay.
and I think, I don't think it's just that. I don't think it's all that random. My understanding is superintendent was informed, in May, who in turn informed me, and then I think that your letter, Mrs. Willis, said that I was gonna be receiving notification. I think I got it the next day. Similar letter, but we were basically notified by the Commissioner of Education that our, high school, had been selected as one of 50, schools in the state to participate in PISA in 2012. My understanding is this gets administered every 3 years across the country. Now, in the little bit of research that I was able to do on the site, and a lot of information isn't quite yet available for that through the site, because the administration is not until October. Is actually, our date is October 19th, that our students, random sampling of 15-year-old students will be asked to participate in this test. My belief is that because Massachusetts is a high-achieving state in the country, and then I think North Reading is considered by the Department of Ed to be a fairly high-achieving district within the state, that contributed to our selection.
Mm-hmm.
And essentially what the PISA is, Program for International Student Assessment, in just a few words, is really gathering data on student achievement that is then used to demonstrate where the United States is falling in comparison to other countries. That's essentially what it is. I can read to you the blurb if you want, but that's essentially, I think, what it is. The best way for me to convey to you and to those folks that might be watching, or if the transcript is reporting, on the use of it. So I don't think it's that random. I think there is a strategy. I believe there is a strategy behind the school being selected. And like I said, it's a sampling of 15 students, of age 15 students. It's gonna be about 50, 55. I don't know who they are yet. That's something that I'll find out in the fall. I have already registered us as a school demonstrating our willingness to participate. I did that, I think, shortly after I got the notification, and Mrs. Willis and I had a conversation about it. My understanding, too, is that there's each year that it's administered, there's a particular area of focus. I think in 2009, it was the social sciences, if I'm not mistaken. In 2012, it's noted that it places a premium on students' ability to apply their literacy skills as well as their math and science knowledge to a unique problem-solving context. So, I think the focus is going to be there for 2012.
Does the state choose the students, or do we choose the students?
My understanding is I'm going to supply to the state all of our students that fit into that age 15 bracket, and then they're going to pull a random sampling.
Okay.
It was very similar to the NAEPS test that we did in 2010, the National Assessment of Educational Progress, which was performance within the United States only.
Right.
It was similar. I gave them a population of students that fit the criteria, and then they generated back to me the ones that they wanted to participate.
And these are full tests they'll be taking in the various subjects, whatever, math,
In those content
literature,
areas.
content
Right.
What
areas.
is the criteria?
The age
Yeah, we-
15,
Age 15.
That's it.
that's it.
Random sample.
Well, I mean, if you're gonna put them up against, if India gives us the same criteria, they may be taking a classroom that's not equivalent to our random sampling.
Yeah, I don't know how they,
So, no wonder we end up with like 48th in math.
you don't know how they're selected in each
Right.
country, exactly.
know if
It
this
could
is
be a
fair.
different,
I mean-
right. Could be a different criteria in each
Right.
country. But this is, I
Give
think,
them a random sampling of our 15 best. And say, this is it.
Okay.
That's our high school.
yeah, we only have
You know,
15 kids in high school.
they may provide some more specific criteria that I have to ascribe to. I just don't know that yet.
Sure.
I mean, I think it's great to be involved in this.
Yeah.
Oh, I think so too. I was very excited when Mrs. Willis shared it with me first. Yeah, I thought so
Kids
too.
are too.
And
I thought
any,
it was good for, yeah.
any additional assessment we can get on any students is always helpful.
Students receive $25 for participating too.
Well,
Well,
professionals,
not a bad deal.
yeah, professional status.
Yeah, that's excellent.
Yeah.
Well, this is great. This will be in October.
October 19th.
Okay.
Yes.
Great. Any questions or comments for John on the participation in the PISA testing?
We will receive results, and so we'll be able to use those results to
Great.
benchmark against how our students perform, both on state-level assessments and our
Be
own
interesting.
Yeah.
locally developed
Ah, it
assessments.
will be.
Very
So
interesting.
it's nice that we get that. And they provide staff to administer this test to our students. So they're providing a lot of support in order for us to do this.
And will we have a list of all the, do we have a list yet, or will we have a list of all the schools that are participating?
We do not
We
have that
don't?
information,
I didn't see it on their website.
not yet.
I did not see it there. There's not an awful lot there yet. It's a lot of, coming soon type of information for us for 2012, so.
Great.
Perfect for that sophomore class that had the high MCAS score.
Oh, right. Okay. Thanks, John.
So that's
Now,
more just
John, I think
informational?
that's great.
Can he put in for overtime tonight? or-
John, I don't know. I was trying to get him
Awesome.
out of here. I was trying to get him out of here in a timely fashion, but he kept wanting to talk more.
Thank you
so
very much.
thanks for coming, John.
Thank you.
Nice summer.
Thank you for having me. Thanks for all of your continued support. I appreciate it very much.
See you in the fall.
Thank you.
Oh no, we'll probably see you before that, right?
I've seen you before that.
Yeah. All right. Thanks.
He's on vacation.
Okay, next we do have a few more items left in the agenda. I'm going to try to get back to where we were. We
yes.
have
Yes.
we have an MSBA. MSBA SSBC update. As I mentioned earlier, there are some trees starting to come down. Mr. Venezia was wondering if it was storm damage when he came by, but there's
I did, I thought the storm took down the.
there's tape and cones up all over the place, so you can't use the front entrance right now. And it's actually exciting to see some equipment in the area. So, Ms. Willis?
Yes, there has not been another SSBC meeting held since the last school committee meeting, but there was an abutters meeting. The second abutters meeting was held on Tuesday, June 12th at 7 p.m. in the middle school large group room. And Mr. Bowers did attend, so he will be able to provide an update not only on that meeting, but as you know, every Thursday there's a pre-construction meeting that takes place on site, and Mr. Bowers has been attending each of those as well. So, Mr. Bowers, would you like to give a brief update on what's taking place?
The abutters meeting was very, very non, interesting, actually. It was just basically telling the abutters that something was coming and giving them a little more warning on the trees, and there was few questions about the level of activity and so forth, but it was really not a very exciting meeting. last Thursday's meeting on the site was